Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So sorry if I sound a little bit out of breath today. I guess it's having asthma on a really sunny day here in the UK is causing a lot of problems. But what also takes my breath away is the new map Eichenwald. We've had a good opportunity to play it at Gamescom. We've been back a week to play it a lot as well as the new Brawl. And so we thought we'd sort of give some tips and tricks from an attacker's perspective mostly. So for the defenders, you want to be sort of listening to these, what the attacking team wants to do, and then sort of making sure that they can't do it. Miska's been writing down a lot of tips and tricks that he wants to talk about in this video, so I'm pretty much going to hand it over to him straight away. So we hope that you enjoy this video, but let's get straight into it.
Right, so this first choke point is essentially just brute forcing. Honestly, there's not any other way around it except the very outer edge of the map. You can't really get around there other than with like Lucio and Pharah probably, so you should probably look to get over or just through the choke point, and it really is just about brute forcing until you actually arrive at the payload. Now, as we all know, the payload is a battering ram on this map, and there are a few ways to actually secure it and get to it. In this area there are actually quite a few flanks, as you can see. You can take the outer left side and go through the building. From there you can get to the point or to the high ground in the hunting lodge, or alternatively you can go all the way around the right and even into the building and take that high ground. Now, this is not so much about pointing out all of the flanks on the map, but I just want to make the point that the choke point in itself is just brute forcing, and after that you actually have a few options, so keep that in mind and don't just tunnel vision straight to the payload. But after this, the map opens up quite a lot, and this part is very interesting, so make sure to pay close attention now. Right, so this is phase 2 of the map, as a lot of people like to call it, including myself, and this is the outside castle phase. And this is probably one of the most complex areas in the game. It is extremely well designed and there are lots of routes to take, and not only just flanking routes, just alternative routes. There are high grounds, super high grounds, and the standard low grounds, and you can even go underneath in some areas as well. This staircase on the right is actually very important to quickly get to the tower. This tower is great to control. You can actually get out here as well into this second phase area via the hunting lodge that is by the checkpoint. You can go out here and you'll see that you come out right by the payload track, and it's actually quite nice to have the entryway on the right and the entryway on the left. You can even go over the wall, sort of from where we're spectating now, and get to the same area. You don't need to follow along the payload track, but you can go left, right, straight ahead and up, but make sure to take control of the high ground. Here's also a little tip. This little wooden ledge up here is actually not used that much at all. I barely see people on there, but Hanzos can take quite good advantage of it, as you can see here. You have good vision of a bunch of entryways, and you can even use your own high ground as cover. So because you're so high up, you're not even that exposed, and it's a really nice platform that not a lot of people use actually. Give it a try if you want to, but do bear in mind that you can't actually try that many characters on this high ground, unfortunately, as you need mobility abilities to get here. Sure, Widowmaker can get here, but Hanzo has an easy time just climbing up the wall. Anna, however, can't get to this high ground. There are other high grounds that Anna can use instead. Right, moving on. So that's pretty much this first area of phase 2 of this map. Now moving on to the next one, which is just before the big castle gate. This area is actually very interesting, but unfortunately you don't get to see this part of the map that much in some matches. It is very likely that the defending team wiped just before, and then the payload just strolls through this bit. Anyway, the main thing I want to talk about here is the left and right side, to begin with at least. So you have the right side, which you can actually get around by using the first area of the map. So you simply walk up those stairs, you get to the tower, and then you just walk down this ramp of debris down right onto where the payload is supposed to go. On the other hand, if you look on the other side of this whole section, you have the left side, and even though it might not look it, it might actually come in handy to use this route sometimes, so keep it in mind. But now onto the big tip for this section, and this is a really interesting one in my opinion, and I've had a lot of fun using this sort of tip or spot or whatever you want to call it, so let's check it out. This is essentially an escape route that all characters can use, at least some of the entrances to it. Now what I mean by entrance is just different ways of jumping down to it. As you can see in this overhead shot, it's in the center of this big drop, and this means that you have 3 entranceways to it essentially. Let's go through them all with Soldier 76. What you do is simply jump down from this bit here. This is extremely useful for attackers if they quickly want to get down, but then around and up to the enemy. And from here we can show off the defender's route as well. What the defenders can do is jump down from the other wooden platform that's higher up than the other one. So they can actually just walk straight off this one onto the other one. So this one can be used by all characters. Now the final one is on the middle side of the bridge. This one is a bit hard to reach actually, but soldier needs to sprint and jump to get to the platform. So you definitely need quite a good movement ability for this one. Right, so those are the 3 ways to use this neat little trick. It's actually helped me quite a few times already, and it's really fun to do as well. Oh, and here's a quick little bonus way of getting to it. I wouldn't recommend using this one, because if there's a lot going on, you might mess this one up quite easily. Right, on to the last bit and into the castle. So the main castle door will go down, but after a little while it'll actually be shut again by a bigger metal door. On the right and left side you have entranceways though, but these are extremely tight and probably the worst choke point in the game, honestly. I wouldn't recommend a fight here though, as it can be very back and forth and very random, so it doesn't really favor any team specifically. In the left one though, you actually have a big health pack, so that one is a little bit better for the attackers to use. Anyway, let's talk indoors and flanking routes. And there aren't really that many here. But what you can do is as you come in as an attacker, you can go up the stairs on the right, you can't miss them, into the bonfire room. And here you can have a little bit of a break, heal up, and then continue down. And you'll be closer to the battle here, and you will have moved on a little bit without exposing yourself too much. But really, it's not that great of a flank, because it doesn't really bring you forward that much, and it puts you out in a spot that's not that great. On the left side of the payload track though, you have another flank. This one goes around the left and into a room. Here you don't want to take the first door out again, you want to keep going into the big corridor. You'll be met with a fairly long room with paintings and some big windows, and just keep going here for a little while onto this sort of wooden bit. This will take you up to a high ground, and this is where you want to get. Don't exit earlier than this. Go up to this high ground and take control of it, because from here you can pretty much see the whole battlefield. It's a good way to at least start off an offense for this last bit of the map, but it is really tricky overall. Anyway, that's it for the specific tips. I'm gonna hand it back to Ryan.
Yeah, the problem is with the last point, it's a little bit chaotic, it's very narrow, you have got this sort of really narrow choke point as well, and it's so easy for the defending team to get back and defend it, so they have a huge advantage here, and the run back for the attackers is a fair bit as well, so that might get changed in the future, who knows. But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Do let us know what you think of this style. We're sort of experimenting with it a little bit, seeing as there's very little news coming out at the moment. We've got this Sombra ARG stuff going on constantly, but apart from that there really isn't too much going on. Do let us know in the comments as well what your tips are for playing Eichenwald and what your favourite heroes are for picking on this map in particular. But that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time.